What happens when Hollywood royalty meets daytime television's toughest panel? You get fireworks, tension, and one moment that left the entire audience breathless. This is the story of how Whoopi Goldberg and Meghan Markle clashed on live TV, and how a simple interview spiraled into one of the most emotional confrontations The View has ever seen. It all began with what should have been a standard guest appearance. Meghan Markle, former Duchess of Sussex, now living in California, with Prince Harry, was making her first major appearance since her Netflix docuseries dropped. She was there to talk about motherhood, her new podcast, and her work with mental health awareness. Backstage. Everything seemed cordial. Meghan's team was on edge, but she herself was calm, smiling, and gracious with the crew. She even joked. With Joy Behar during rehearsal, everyone expected a light, empowering segment until Whoopi Goldberg entered the equation. Now, Whoopi has never been one to hold back. She's opinionated, sharp, and fiercely protective of what she sees as the truth, and when she feels someone is dodging questions or playing the victim, she goes in hard. What nobody knew that morning was that Whoopi had come prepared. Not just for an interview, but for a reckoning. As the lights came up and the theme music played, Meghan walked on stage to polite applause. She wore a crisp white blouse, soft waves in her hair, and a confident but cautious smile. Joy Behar gave her a warm welcome. Sarah N. asked a few friendly questions. The tone was friendly, until Whoopi leaned forward. So, Meghan. Whoopi began, her voice calm but piercing. You've talked a lot about how difficult royal life was, about the media, about the institution. But some people are asking, at what point does personal accountability come into play? I mean, everyone has struggles, right? Why do you think your story is so special? The air shifted. The studio got quiet. Meghan's eyes blinked just slightly, her smile dimming. Meghan responded carefully. I don't think my story is more special than anyone else's. I've always said that what I experienced was unique to me, but not unique in the bigger picture. I speak about it because I know others go through similar things and feel silenced. Whoopi nodded slowly, but didn't back off. But when people hear you compare royal life to prison, or say that you felt invisible while having global coverage, it sounds contradictory. Can you see how that confuses people? There it was the first real jab, and Meghan felt it. She took a breath. I understand how it could seem that way, but the visibility I had wasn't real. It was curated. I was seen, but not heard. My pain didn't fit the narrative. Whoopi raised her eyebrows. But you had a global platform, millions of people hanging on your words. Oprah, Netflix, Spotify. Some would say that's more than being heard, that's being amplified. Joy Behar jumped in, trying to lighten the mood. Well, I think everyone's reality is different, and it's not a competition. Meghan's experience is Meghan's. But Whoopi wasn't done. I'm just saying. There are people watching this show right now who work 2 jobs, don't have health insurance, and don't have Netflix deals. When they hear you talk about trauma while sitting in a mansion, it might come off a little tone-deaf. The audience let out an audible oof. Meghan looked down briefly, and when she looked back up, her composure was cracking. I never said money protects you from pain, Meghan said, voice steady but her eyes glassy. Mental health doesn't care about your zip code. Privilege doesn't erase isolation. I thought I was going to lose myself. I was afraid I wouldn't survive. That stopped Whoopi for a beat, but she pressed forward. I get that. I do. But don't you think it's possible that your story could have landed better if you acknowledged that privilege up front? That maybe the message got lost because it felt one-sided. And that was the moment something shifted. Meghan leaned forward, her tone sharper. I've spent years being told how I should say things, when I should speak, what tone I should speak, what tone I should use so I don't offend people. But the truth is, no matter how I say it, someone finds a reason to dismiss it. The audience was split. Some nodded. Others looked uncomfortable. Sarah N. gently interjected. There's room for both empathy and accountability, right? Can't we agree on that? Whoopi folded her arms. Sure, but accountability starts with owning your narrative fully, not just the parts that make you a hero. Asterisk Meghan stared at her for a long moment, then whispered something under her breath. The mic didn't pick it up, but her expression was clear. Hurt, tired, done. Asterisk Joy tried to pivot. Let's talk about the work you're doing now, the podcast, the foundation. Asterisk, but it was too late. Meghan's eyes were red. She blinked rapidly and let out a shaky breath. Asterisk, you know what? Meghan said softly. I came here thinking this would be a conversation, not a cross-examination. I'm not perfect. I've never claimed to be. I've made mistakes, but I also deserve grace. The room went still. Whoopi, for once, didn't reply. She just stared. And Meghan, gathering what little strength she had left, turned toward the audience. Asterisk, if sharing my pain helps one person feel seen, then it was worth it. Even if I have to cry through it. And with that, a single tear rolled down her cheek. Joy looked horrified. Sarah reached out to touch her hand. The producers signaled for a commercial break. But the cameras kept rolling. Asterisk, and now there were actual tears forming in her eyes, her voice becoming thick with emotion. Asterisk, you don't know what it was like. To have every single thing you did scrutinized. To have lies printed about you every single day. To have people hate you for no reason other than who you married. Asterisk, lies. Whoopi's voice sharpened. Let's talk about lies. You told Oprah you weren't prepared for royal life, that nobody taught you anything. But there's footage of you at events months before your wedding, clearly being guided through protocols, clearly receiving instruction. Asterisk, you said you didn't know you were supposed to curtsy to the Queen. But there's video of you doing exactly that. Meghan's face flushed, embarrassment and anger mixing in her expression. Those were small things, details. She said, the bigger picture was that I was thrown into this situation without proper support. Asterisk support. Whoopi leaned forward. You had an entire staff dedicated to helping you. You had Harry guiding you. You had access to coaches, consultants, advisors. What you didn't have was someone telling you that you could rewrite centuries of tradition. Asterisk, this is ridiculous, Meghan said, her voice shaking. I can't believe I'm sitting here being attacked for sharing my experiences. This is exactly the kind of treatment that made me want to leave in the first place. Asterisk attacked Whoopi, shot back. Child, I'm asking you questions. Real questions. If asking for specifics and pointing out contradictions is an attack, maybe the issue isn't with the questions. Maybe it's with your answers. The room was silent. Joy Behar looked paralyzed. Sarah Ann had her hand half raised, but didn't dare speak. Asterisk, I don't have to sit here and take this, Meghan said, voice cracking. I came here thinking we could have a respectful conversation. Asterisk, respectful. Whoopi's tone tightened. Respect for who? The people watching who struggled daily just to get by. The institution that tried to welcome you. Or maybe the respect for truth instead of a personal narrative. Meghan's tears flowed freely now. Her publicist was frantically signaling off camera. But the cameras rolled, and Whoopi kept going. Asterisk, you know what breaks my heart? Whoopi said, softer now. It's not that you struggled, it's that you had the chance to do something powerful with your platform. And instead, it became about personal pain. Asterisk, I've tried to shine a light on important issues, Meghan said through tears. Asterisk, she stood there, shaking. Mascara smudged, image shattered. I think we need a break, Joy Behar finally said. No. Whoopi replied, this is real, and it's overdue. She turned to Meghan one final time. You're not a villain, Meghan, but you made mistakes. And instead of owning them, you rewrote the story to be the hero. But real growth that starts with accountability. Meghan's voice was a whisper. Maybe I did make it all about me. Maybe I was selfish. The studio froze. It wasn't the Meghan people knew. This was something raw, real, something... Broken. Asterisk, it's not too late, Whoopi said. You can make amends. You can take responsibility. It starts now. But Meghan had already begun walking off stage. I'm sorry. She called behind her, and then she was gone. The camera held on Whoopi. Asterisk, sometimes the truth hurts, she said. But sometimes we need to hear it to grow. Asterisk, the credits. Rolled. Asterisk, but for those who watched, this moment would never be forgotten. Important issues. Whoopi raised her voice. You mean like a $40,000 baby shower while families are losing homes? Or complaining about a cottage on a royal estate while people sleep in shelters, or crying about titles while people fight. For basic rights, Meghan's voice was hoarse. That's not fair. Everything I do gets twisted. Everything's taken out of context. Asterisk context? Whoopi leaned in. I grew up poor, really poor, faced actual legal systemic racism, and I didn't blame everyone around me for my struggles. Asterisk, the publicist, now stood behind the cameras, urgently motioning for a cut. The producers didn't move. This was gold. Asterisk, I never said I was the only one who struggled, Meghan replied, her voice rising. But just because others have had it worse doesn't mean my pain isn't real. Asterisk, your pain is valid, Whoopi replied, her tone finally softening. But your response to it? That's what I question. When things got hard, you didn't try to adapt. You burned bridges, you hurt people, you made your family drama a brand. Asterisk a brand. Meghan recoiled. I lost everything. My home, my family, my identity. I had to start over. Asterisk start. Over, Whoopi said. With Netflix deals, Hollywood friends. Oprah, you didn't start over from nothing. You had more support than most people could dream of. Meghan stood up, pushing her chair back. I don't have to listen to this. This isn't an interview. It's an ambush. Asterisk, sit down, Whoopi said, calmly but firmly. You came to tell your story, so tell all of it. Not just the version that flatters you. Asterisk, you want the truth. Meghan's voice cracked. Fine. I left because I knew I'd never be enough for them, no matter what I did, no matter how hard I tried. Asterisk enough. For who? Whoopi asked, more gently now. Asterisk, for Harry, Meghan whispered. And just like that, the air changed. It wasn't about the tabloids. It wasn't about the palace. It was about heartbreak. Asterisk, so this wasn't about racism, Whoopi said. Slowly, this was about a marriage, and a woman who couldn't compete with the past. Asterisk, Meghan's face collapsed. The tears fell harder. Asterisk, you don't understand, she whispered. You've never been in love with someone who made you feel like you had to fight the entire world to be seen. Asterisk, actually, I do, Whoopi said, voice steady. But what I don't do is destroy everyone around me to feel better. Asterisk, Meghan was sobbing now. Hair loose, blazer wrinkled, mascara running. Asterisk, I just wanted to be happy. I thought if I found the right person, it would fix everything. Asterisk, life isn't perfect, Whoopi said. Marriage isn't perfect. Families aren't perfect. And when you join something bigger than yourself, sometimes personal happiness has to take a back seat. Asterisk, and what about mine? Meghan asked through tears. What about my happiness? Asterisk, what about Harry's? Whoopi shot back. What about his family, his brother, his grandmother, who's gone now? What about the people hurt when you blew it all up? Meghan had no answer. She stood there shaking, mascara smudged, image shattered. Asterisk, I think we need a break, Joy Behar finally said. Asterisk, no, Whoopi replied. This is real, and it's overdue. She turned to Meghan one final time. Not a villain, Meghan, but you made mistakes. And instead of owning them, you rewrote the story to be the hero. But real growth, that starts with accountability. Meghan's voice was a whisper. Maybe I did make it all about me. Maybe I was selfish. The studio froze. It wasn't the Meghan people knew. This was something raw, real, something broken. Asterisk, it's not too late, Whoopi said. You can make amends. You can take responsibility. It starts now. But Meghan had already begun walking off stage. I'm sorry, she called behind her, and then she was gone. The camera held on Whoopi. Asterisk, sometimes the truth hurts, she said, but sometimes we need to hear it to grow. Asterisk, the credits rolled. Asterisk, but for those who watched, this moment would never be forgotten.